to seed or not to seed? Do you use starts or do you use seeds? Well, there's pros and cons to both. And so one of the benefits to sowing your seed is that for some varieties, you're going to get better performance. You certainly get more choice. You get to go through the seed catalog and pick exactly the variety that you want to grow. And if you learn to save seeds, then you get the benefit of beginning to create seed that thrives in your environment, your garden. Some of the downsides is that it can be risky. A start is pretty sure thing. You stick it in the ground, but a seed, if you don't remember to water it for a couple of days, or the soil temperature isn't right, there's so many reasons why that seed might not germinate. Another piece of it is that you've got to be out there and you've got to thin. When you stick a start in the ground, it's really obvious or much easier to get your spacing right. But when you plant with seeds, you have to do the thinning yourself. And lots of gardeners don't like killing plants. And so that's what you got to do when you thin. Seeds are certainly more economical. So that's another pro, because you can buy a seed packet with hundreds of seeds in it for the same price that you might buy 3 or 4 starts. Harder to control the weeds, and this is where for beginning gardeners, a start is a much safer, sure path to success, because you need to know the difference between what your seed germinating looks like and what the surrounding weeds might look like. So one of my favorite things is in the springtime, I've always got kind of gardeners pulling on my shirt sleeve, asking me to come over to their plot and say, is this a weed or is this my radish? Is this a weed or is this my turnip? Is this a weed or is this my carrot? And so we're going to talk a little bit down the slides about identifying your plants and learning to become sleuths of what those first couple of leaves look like. One of the benefits, again, back to benefits, is that if you grow your own seeds in the soil, then you don't need a greenhouse or any sort of, there's no need for a greenhouse to keep those starts alive. If you start the seeds indoors, of course, then you do need that greenhouse. So it kind of goes both ways. Another downside to seeding in seeding in the soil is that it occupies the land longer. So you've got to, whereas a start, you can put it right in the ground and you can harvest it much sooner. A seed is going to need to be in the ground 4 to 8 weeks longer before you start to be able to harvest that food. So benefits of transplants. It gives you a lot more control. It gives you a head start. So if you put, say a broccoli start in the ground, then at the same time you plant a seed, you're going to get to eat that broccoli about 8 weeks sooner than when you planted that seed. Weed control, you can put that start in the ground. You know exactly what you put in the ground because you bought it, you planted it, and so you know everything around that is not what you're planning to grow. Succession planting is pretty easy with starts because you can harvest one thing and put that next thing right in the ground. And succession planting is just this idea that you're constantly thinking about what's the next crop going in the ground as soon as you're harvested and eating the crop that is the one that's currently in the ground. So you're always thinking ahead. And you can certainly do this with seeds, and we do in the community garden. But with starts, again, it's just if you're a beginning gardener, it's just a little easier. Another benefit of transplants is just the immediate gratification. Like you walk away from your garden bed and it looks beautiful. You've suddenly got like a garden in your garden. Whereas you plant seeds and it's that you have to wait, which is also really delightful and really exciting to just go out there every day and check on those seeds and wait for them to germinate.